Jushua Zirkzee says yes to Manchester United. Reports claim that he's speaking to Erik ten Hag every single day. This is according to Fabrizio Romano. We're going to dive into that story. Jadon Sancho is also edging closer to a move away from Old Trafford to Juventus. And also we're going to talk about the left-back crisis due to the uncertainty of Luke Shaw and Tyrell Malacia. United are currently facing stiff competition for Miguel Gutierrez and Kerkez. Of course, this is Mick Ruby. This is the transfer window. This is the drama we love or hate. And of course, this is MUFC Realist TV Transfer Corner and the Done Deal Show. Please do us a little bit of favor. Smash that like button. Subscribe if you're new. Buckle up because here we bid. Let's go. Hello everyone and welcome back to MUFC Realist TV. Mick Ruby here as per usual with this short and snappy video recording to talk about the latest development within Manchester United transfer news, ins and outs. And let's start with the story regarding Jushua Zirkzee to Manchester United. It's reported for a very long time that United are negotiated, the personal terms not a problem. United are willing to pay the agent Kia Joubashian the commission fee of £8 million. However, there's been well-documented reports that he actually said yes first to AC Milan. They had personal terms agreed. Everything was hunky-dory, but it was a stumbling block because AC Milan didn't want to pay the commission fee for Kia Joubashian, which is Zirkzee's agent. Now, let's continue with the story, Morning Glory, because now latest came out from Demasio down in Italy to say that AC Milan are now moving away from the Zirkzee deal, looking to bring in no other than Alvaro Morata instead as their first choice striker. Heavy negotiations regarding Morata. That means that it is 100% green light for Zirkzee. Oh, and by the way, to add a little bit of cherry on that top, Fabrizio Romano is now also coming out to say it is happening in a way, because Fabrizio Romano was always reporting that watch out, AC Milan still in the race. But now Fabrizio Romano has swayed to say the Manchester United is in the pole position. So that is for me pretty much a here we go very soon. I'm getting excited. I'm starting to believe that this is a done deal very, very soon to happen. Let me know in the comment section below. What do you think? Do you think that this is a done deal? Do you think that Zirkzee will sign on the dotted line? Do you think that he will come to Old Trafford to work with Ten Hag and also Ruud van Nistelrooy? Who wouldn't? Let me know in the comment section below. Next story, we're going to talk about Jadon Sancho. Now, there is a story regarding Jadon Sancho, and everyone loves a story, and the transfer story is that, of course, Jadon Sancho is not welcome back to Old Trafford, especially now when Ten Hag has been given another year contract extension, and players need to return back to training at Carrington in a couple of days to report. But Juventus are now, according to the reports, the front runners pursuing a deal for Jadon Sancho, either if it's going to be cash or a potential loan with an obligation to buy. And this has to do with Federico Chiesa that nears the exit. So Juventus are actively looking as prime target for Jadon Sancho interim to be the replacement for Chiesa. This is according to Gazzetta dello Sport. The Bianconeri are keen to bolster offensive opinions, particularly to provide support for striker Dusan Vlahovic. Sancho, who had a stellar season at Dortmund, I wouldn't say stellar, but it's been reported that Dortmund love him, but they don't really want to pay the money for him. So Juventus are aiming to attack the bolstering squad with Sancho being the replacement for Chiesa. But everything, according to Fabrizio Romano, has also claimed that Juventus have decided to sell Chiesa as the new manager Thiago Motta wants to take him to a different direction, and Thiago Motta really fancies to bring in a Jadon Sancho to provide the support for Dusan Vlahovic. For sure, Federico Chiesa will be sold, but the funds from Chiesa sale, according to La Gazzetta dello Sport, could potentially fund Jadon Sancho's acquisition. This is a hot deal. I mean, at the end of the day, people, if you look at it, United are facing very, very difficult trouble because you don't want Jadon Sancho. You know that he doesn't want to play for United. He's following up with the manager, and there's a new structure and direction, and most of the clubs know Manchester United's situation. So Will it be a low bid? Will it be a 30? Will it be a 20? Or will it be potential? Listen, we will take him off the books. We will take him off your troubles. And we will potentially go for another loan deal with an obligation to buy. But according to the reports, it all depends on the sale of Chiesa. As yet, Jadon Sancho is Chiesa's replacement. Now, next story, we're going to talk about the fullback situation. What is going on? Let's go. Now, it's been well documented by Fabrizio Romano that Manchester United is looking to bring in a very important left back, as it's the uncertainty of Luke Shaw and Tyrell Malacia's fitness levels that are in doubt. United do not want to be in the same position as last season where we were playing without any left backs. Hence, they have contemplated to even go back to Serge Reguilon, according to the latest report, for another loan spell. But here we're going to talk about the two prime targets in Gargan, Milos Kerkez and also Miguel Gutierrez from Girona. What is going on? Because we did a report 2 days ago regarding Miguel Gutierrez. Let's go with Miguel Gutierrez. According to our report 2 days ago, the Spanish outlet is also now correlating that AS Sport Figuetas reports also that United are one of the many sides interested in the fullback, but they have facing now very stiff competition because he hasn't gone under the radar 100%. The defender's future is still much up in the air. Ten Hag is crazy about him, but the Catalanian club are described as being a state of calm, according to the report. There's many players in their squad that are on the radar for big European clubs, including the left back, Miguel Guterrez, after such a fantastic stellar season. At 22 years of age, he has many European clubs dazzled, but the Red Devils and the other teams trust that he will continue, potentially might stay for another year, but here's the crux in Girona's favor. The player is seduced to play in Champions League, but he's also reported to play for Real Madrid. That dream is over. Why? Because Real Madrid sold him for 8 million to Girona, and they said we will have a buyback of first refusal clause, and if we want to buy him back, it's going to be for 8 million. Other than that, it's also been reported Real Madrid will not exercise this clause. They let him, Girona to have him for, to sell him on. And the buyback clause is now set on 35 million euro. So nonetheless, other than teams are looking to purchase the players such as Manchester United, 100% Ten Hag is crazy about him. And by the way, Ten Hag, with this new contract extension doesn't mean it's an add-on, meaning that didn't have an ad hoc. Ten Hag has pretty much the veto to say who he wants to bring in. He wants to have the player coming into Old Trafford, and 35 million is roughly about 25 million British pound, which United has set a budget for. The player is contracted in Girona till 2027. The paper states also that Girona is his priority, but the other clubs make knocking on his door. Such would tempt him to come to potentially play in the Premier League, but it's unlikely that this might happen, that Figuetas is saying. However, reports that Real Madrid are not considering his return. In fact, Arsenal is another English club that are interested in this fantastic fullback. So keep your eyes on that price. Ultimately, his ability to perform more as an advanced role in his versatility on the field caught the attention of numerous observers. And if United want to make this move, they will surely have to work hard to convince the player. He will have numerous suitors, many who like to have him on the left flank, including the Gunners, and Gunners offering Champions League. But however, the pulling power with the new establishment, the 25 million pounds release clause, I've been told that Manchester United are more than happy to exercise this clause. That's what we're seeing. We are attacking players with release clauses. This might be happening with the uncertainty of Luke Shaw and Tyrell Malacia. And what is going on with Milos Kerkez? This is another target that we've been linked to. Let's get right into Milos Kerkez's story, shall we? Now, Milos Kerkez, according to him, the market value, which is well documented on Transfermarkt, is about 16.9 million pounds, equivalent to 17 million pounds. And United are not willing to pay more than 25 million pounds, estimated 35 million euros for a left back. Up and coming Miguel Guterrez is the number one priority, together with Milos Kerkez, per my understanding. Kerkez, with age of 20, has kind of fallen out with Bournemouth, and Bournemouth has been saying that we expect to put a silly price on Kerkez. I read a report to say that Milos Kerkez, Bournemouth wants about 40 million euros for him, which is equal to 30 million pounds approximately. I think that everything depending on what's going on the left back. United's interest in Milos Kerkez is for real, but if you look at Hariamas, the upcoming youngster that's going to be integrated in the squad, it's too much for the young Hariamas to carry the line if this doesn't happen. And in that case, United, as the report's been looking at Serge Reguilon to sort of come back and play that role, which he didn't do much when he was on loan spell for Manchester United. We're simply not going to repeat the same mistake from last season, hence why Manchester United want to bring in either a Milos Kerkez or a Miguel Gutierrez. Now, Certain says, I want to hear from you. Leave your comment in the non-live comment section and the chat. Who do you prefer to sign? Would you like a Miguel Gutierrez, or would you rather go for a Premier League proven Milos Kerkez? But it all depends on the price. Manchester United seems to be negotiating still in the market. It's not the old Manchester United of the past. And this is basically, if you look at Matthias de Ligt, how we kind of negotiated, we actually came down from 50 million pounds to now reported on 36 million pounds, plus reducing the wages of Matthias de Ligt, which seems to me to be very, very advanced. And I believe that this is a 99% here we go coming up soon. But guys, I want to hear from you. What do you think? Who would you go for? If you had an opportunity to sign a left back, which apparently we're going to do. Aaron Wan-Bissaka looks like he's going. We cannot just rely on Diego Dalot. So we don't have pretty much any fullbacks, And if Aaron Wan-Bissaka goes, it's been documented as well that we will go in for another release clause, which is Jeremy Frimpong on 34 million pounds, which is astute. So you can see that United are moving on these clever deals, which they don't have to overpay. They need to agree the personal terms and the willingness of the player to come to United. And then it's just a matter of fact to trigger that release clause and discuss with different clubs, how do you want to get paid in terms of amortization, in terms of installments, how much cash up front. So leave a comment in the non-live comment section. Let me know in the chat what you think, and let us go to the chat room. What do you think regarding Milos Kerkez or Miguel Gutierrez? This is going to be interesting, guys. Let's continue. Let's go to the chat and see what you have to say. Hey, happy Friday. And I'm apologizing if I do dress up like Jesus. Of course, apologizing for not taking your questions before. And I just want to hear from you, how you doing, how you're feeling. We also have Mark Nurse just pulled in, he pulled the hamstring. And probably Mark been listening in the background, what I've been saying. I mean, it's the transfer window. It's very interesting. Let me just find, where do I find Mark? Where here he is, Mark Nurse into the stage. The M&M, where are you, Mark? I can't see you. At the scene, no, okay. I got to sort of refurbish you here, Mark. Hang on a second. Refurbish you. Well, you see some weird things happening. Mark is getting ready into the stage, and yeah. Listen, Mark, how you doing?
I'm chilling, Mick. I'm enjoying the day. I just noticed that you were live, and I happened to be at home. So you know what? I said, you know what? Let's give him the M&M show. I'm gonna jump in. I didn't see the first 10 minutes, but I was watching the last few. And like Mr. C is saying here, I kind of agree in a little bit, but a little bit disagree. I know the situation with Malacia is a bit difficult, and yeah, I know we're gonna be disappointed as fans, but we can't blame him for the fact that we botched 2 surgeries. You know what I'm saying? That's our fault as a club.
I mean,
The medical department. And
we don't want to repeat the same mistake as last season when we went out without a left back, and then we sort of got reinsurance for the medical department that Luke Shaw was coming back, and of course, we kind of let go of Serge Reguilon. And there was some reports yesterday to say we are actually looking to speak to Serge Reguilon to come back and to do a role again. And he didn't play much in this department, so it's clear and obvious that we need a centre back. I mean, we need a new fullback, we need a new left back, but if we look at the right side, we are all right with Diego Dalot, and potentially if we sell Aaron Wan-Bissaka and get in a Frimpong. But the left side, like, you can't get Harry Amas to carry the line by himself.
Too early.
Yeah.
It's too early for Harry. I mean, I would love to see him get some game time. I'm not going to lie, because I think he has all the ability and talent in the world, but it's too early to make him the dependent that we are going to depend on to be our season on the left. I think going for Milos Kerkez is a very, very good option, as well as Miguel Gutierrez. I think those are two really amazing options. Their price is reasonably well suited, like £40 million both
Mm.
ways should be decent, an option, and probably something that we could actually do. But we could also look at some other left backs that may not be as popular, that but still have the same caliber of quality, that might be even cheaper. So what we do really need to do is sign a left back. That's what I think. I think depending on Luke Shaw and Malacia right now in this moment is a little bit too suspect. I think Luke Shaw might be able to do a job when he gets back to fitness. Malacia will need some time to get himself back into fitness as well. He has not played football for a year and has been injured, so he may not see peak fitness till the middle of next season. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? So
Well,
yeah,
it's uncertain. Nobody really knows, and it's very. I mean, we did a show yesterday, and it's really hard. Luke Shaw's got 1 year left on his contract. He only appeared 15 times at United, meaning 47% availability. Very difficult to sell an injury-prone player that is on 200k a week as well.
100%.
So you can understand. I just guys did a poll here for you guys. Like, who would you bring in out of those two options that we are heavily linked to? Would you go for a Milos Kerkez? Market value is about 17 million. It's been reported that United are willing to spend on a young left back with the age profile on 25 million pounds, and the two profiles are Milos Kerkez and Guterrez. Now, Guterrez, for me, it's a no-brainer. I would say no-brainer. Like, um, correction, I did a video the other day, like, I missed the detail that they sold him to Girona with a buyback of, if they buy him back, it will be 8 million, right? But Girona has set a release clause on 35 million euros, which is equaling to 25 million. So this is within the price range.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, Girona, like, they won the league. They are up in the Champions League this year, and a lot of European clubs are sniffing around that. Like, you look at Gutierrez, of course, Arsenal is interested. A lot of Premier League clubs, right? So it is up to sort of sway Gutierrez. And I heard, like, I've been keeping my, finger on the pulse, speaking to the market a bit. And United and Ten Hag is particularly crazy about Gutierrez, wants to bring him over for his abilities. And I don't know, Mark, what do you know about Gutierrez yourself? Like, would it
Well,
fit?
I can't say I know a whole lot, but last season I was on Mason Greenwood watch with Getafe, so I've been watching La Liga, and I watch Girona games because everyone talks so much about Girona, and what I can say, he's been a consistent player. In the same breath of Milos Kerkez, you can expect that every game you're going to get at 7 out of 10. He's going to give his all. He makes his attacks forward. He's very, very creative in going forward. He doesn't just go down the line all
Mm,
the time. Sometimes he might be cutting in. He provides an option with the wingers, and he knows how to invert. He's
yeah.
very, very intelligent a player. And I've been watching this Real Madrid fan channel. It's one of the biggest Real Madrid fan. I've been
Oh,
watching them for
really?
some
Okay,
time,
cool,
right?
cool.
And yesterday night I was watching them, and they were talking about Miguel Gutierrez, and Real Madrid is not interested in resigning
They're
him
not,
because
no.
they're currently going for the Bayern Munich right left back in Alphonso Davies. So my thinking is it might be the easier deal for us to do. Maybe we can hit Florentino Perez, yo, Garnacho in 5 years.
No,
Just
no,
get
no,
us
no.
Gutierrez. They buy Gutierrez for 8, we
No,
give
but they
them
said
20.
no. I mean, the reports say they're not interested and they let him go. So basically, the only stumbling block was that if Real Madrid will come in for Gutierrez to bring him back, they will pay 8 million. That's part of the deal, right? But other than that, they're walking away. They said, go ahead, sell him. And Girona has put a 35 million release clause. So for me, that's now, if we are in competition like for Lenny Euro, like, if Real comes in, we are screwed, right? But now this is an easy deal to do, right? You just have to convince, Gutierrez to come. sell him in the project, and just trigger that release clause. This it's just an easy deal to do, and I kind of see. It's the way we're moving in the market. Like we are attacking, players with release clauses. That
Mm.
it's you. All you have to do is convince the player still in the project, and then trigger the release clause, right? And just come into terms of the amortization, how much payment upfront and how much installments, kind of thing. So for me, that's box clever. And then we've seen also, like, I believe certainly that we are going in for Frimpong once we sell Aaron Wan-Bissaka. So Frimpong's got a release clause on what, 34 million,
Yeah,
according
I
to your
think it's
opinion?
just about
Yeah.
34 million euros.
So the reason per se why we're looking for new fullbacks is because the way we want to play is like having fullbacks bombing forward, right? And you have the limitation of Aaron Wan-Bissaka. Love him or hate him or leave him. I love Wan-Bissaka. He's really good defensively, but a little bit suspect moving forward. If we look at the left flank, on a fit Luke Shaw is a really good, technical Luke Shaw that can bomb forward, but he's not reliable. Like, we haven't seen much of Malacia, and I think like Luke Shaw with the age profile 29, I think he is. They're not going to sell like Malacia over Luke Shaw. Like they rather get rid of somebody that is injury prone, the age bracket, and then you get in this Gutierrez or apply that style of bombing forward mark, right?
100%. And when you look at it from this perspective, Mick, is you have to understand that, like, we're not saying Luke Shaw is a terrible player, but at his age, at the profile that he is right now, currently, it's not one that we can depend on if we want to challenge, like most
Yeah,
fans would
it's a
like to see us
difficult one.
challenging on all fronts.
It's a
So
difficult one.
yeah, it's difficult, and
Right.
we're by no means diminishing his quality. Like, even if we keep him, it's definitely going to be needed that we get in a left back that actually we can depend on, or who can be his backup
Yeah.
in case of any emergency. I see Royden is also asking about the Bruno situation. I don't know if we
Yeah. No, we're
discussed
going to
that
talk about
earlier.
that later on. Let's
We'll talk
finish off
about it,
with
Royden, and
Yeah,
I'll
let's
give you my
finish off with
response to
the
that, broski.
yeah.
Sorry
Let's
about
finish off
that.
with it. Yeah, let's finish off with the left back situation. Mr. C coming in here say, if we actually in for Miguel, then I'm sure we get him over the line, Girona. But I'd rather get Milos Kerkez to give Amas a chance. Well, the thing is, like, give Amas a chance. You can talk about that, Rans, because Amas was never supposed to start like as a play 30 games next season. It's going to be a slow integration. What we've seen with the
Garnacho.
likes of Garnacho and everyone else. So it's going to be an understudy. Of course,
Yeah, and
Kerkez has more of a Premier League experience, but it's all about the ability and the mental agility and how you sort of can bomb forward, right?
true, and like, Mr. C, I understand your fears and I understand your concerns, but I'm gonna say this to you: whether it's Kerkez or whether it's Gutierrez, the same opportunities is going to be presented to him. Either way, Ten Hag likes the youngster. There's 7 youngsters that are
Yeah,
being promoted to the first team this
yeah.
season,
He's
and
tapped him up.
huh?
He's tapped him up.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
No,
It's
he's
like
singled him
there's a
out already.
goalkeeper youngster that's gonna come through. He's gonna join the first team as well. So it's gonna be really interesting, guys. We have 4 competitions, 4 fronts. There's so much game time to be had. These youngsters, most of them will probably feature in the Carabao Cup and possibly the early stages, or in games like,
Yeah,
what if we get to 9 points in the first 3 games of Europa, or 12 points, they might feature in a few games after that because we only
yeah,
really need 12
100%,
points.
100%.
So,
I'm gonna start some questions here. Like, we have a question from Thomas Wedgenes earlier. It's about Zirkzee, but we're gonna park that until we get to the Zirkzee sections. I appreciate it. Let's finish off with the left back. Like, I did a poll, and it's right now on 50-50, guys. What you're saying, like, who would you bring in, like, and it's 50-50. So I will run this poll a little bit more. We have 20 votes so far. We have over 200 people watching so far. So let us get up to 100 likes on this lunch show. So please hit that like button. It's so easy. It's free. You don't have to pay for it. You're just wasting a little bit of our energy and calories, and it's good for fat loss, right? You burn extra calories. You mentioned something about Bruno Fernandes, that PIF is coming in, and I don't think that's going to happen, right? It doesn't.
I,
It's just
that's
nothing big.
it's up it's something that they want to do. I would not deny that Saudi wants to get Bruno,
Yeah, of
but
course
I
they
would
want
say
to.
this: maybe Bruno wants to play another year for Man United and try to win something, and
Let
then
me
maybe
just
move to Saudi.
Let me contra with you that one. You remember the early stages when it was reported that Bruno has come out and spoken to Ratcliffe and everything to understand what the vision was. Like, if you want me, I'm here to stay. Now he see where the garden path is. Like, who they're going to recruit, blah, blah, blah. They ain't going nowhere. He ain't going
Nah,
nowhere.
bro.
No, he's going to be
Especially
the star man there
if we get
in the mid.
a young Joao Neves in the building. Now I know
Yeah,
the deal looks difficult, but if
yeah,
we do,
yeah.
Bruno's here, bro.
Yeah, you get an Ugarte deal which is very, very close in advance. You get an Ugarte, you sign up a number about 60 million spent on two centre backs. Then you have youngsters coming in there in the midfield as well. Then you get a Rabiot for free, the energetic Rabiot, the Rabiot, right, with the Duracell bunny, and potentially what can we get in more there, like and what you say, Jean Neves potentially, like. Then you have a sort of a world class midfield rotation, which is something that Bruno's going to lead the line on top of that, right? The way we're going to play, for instance, like with Zirkzee, coming back to that, going back to Thomas Svedjan's question, fits right into it. Like, what's your thoughts on Zirkzee and what can he contribute? Well, that's a very good question because Zirkzee is that type of player that he's not your typical the number nine, the fox in the box. Xerxes is a 9.5, right? Xerxes is the kind of player like Martial used to be on his pomp, right? He will play with his back against the goal. He will link up like link up with the Garnacho, Rashford, all the wingers, and he will arrive late into the box. He likes to come in late, but he likes to play a little bit further up the pitch. And who's to say we're not going to play with two strikers, Mark? Right? We might play with Hoyland advanced. Xerxes is a little bit of a 9.5, like a false number nine kind of thing. Depends on how you're going to play, or
We might
they can sort of interchange from the bench.
we might even see Xerxes lining up as the center forward and Hoyland lining up as a winger. And Hoyland drifting into the striker role and Xerxes slotting in
Mm,
behind him off to a side, left or right side. You might even see these things. The thing
yeah,
is that it's a different option to Hoyland. He's a different profile, but he has similar attributes: speed, ball ability, good control, good shot on him, can link him well with players around him. Those are the
yeah.
qualities that we want in our forward. But
Okay,
he's a
just
little
gonna
bit
go.
different, just
Just
like
gonna
what you
read
said.
out the comments here from Jonathan. Say they're both good, 100%. They're good, but if we go back to the left backs,
Left
like they're
back.
both good, but he prefers Miguel. Roydon Frost is saying we were agreed on the Bruno deal to give us 100 million. I don't think so. I don't think we're gonna sell Bruno whatsoever. Mr. C said not asking for him to carry the left side, but integrate him in the first team. You're talking about Harry Amas.
Yeah,
He's
yeah,
got
that's definitely gonna happen, Mr. C. Like you can count that, the first few games of preseason, you're gonna see the youngsters. Because most of these guys who just finished Europa Cup or who is still in the cup, they have 2 to 3 weeks vacation after.
yeah,
Garnacho is on 3 weeks vacation when he finishes Copa America, my bro.
right,
So it's just one of those things. You're gonna see
right,
these players coming at the end of the tour.
yeah. Mr. C is also continuing to say, relying, hoping we get Ugarte over the line. I'm convinced he's going to be a success at United.
100%, I agree
Mark,
with
your
that
thoughts? I
comment.
mean, De Ligt seems to be here. We go very soon, right? De Ligt to
Mhm.
me is somebody that doesn't blink. Like he goes hard into tackles. He's very good on the ball. It's similar to if you look into the profile of Ugarte, he's exactly what we need if you're going to play a high pressing line, right? He can play the single pivot. He covers a lot of ground. He's the destroyer. Um, his long range passing is so. We haven't seen much of it. He's not a goal scoring threat, but he's a pretty much that would transport, take the ball from the back line and transport it like short passes, long passes, break up the play.
He's like the
Very
Great Wall of Berlin, I would
grateful.
say. You know what I mean? The Great Wall of China is something that you need in front of the last line. You know what I'm saying? And Ugarte, he's got an engine like no other, man. Like the guy runs without getting tired. He
Yeah.
just looks a bit sweaty.
Yeah,
So
another player that will come through is Collier as well in that position. Like I forgot
hundred
about that. So we
percent.
have three players, one understudy, and I hope this sign, like can do an astute negotiation. 90 million for Amrabat to make it permanent, 90 million pounds, and we should go. Gloria, what you're saying, yeah, I would bring in Kerkez because he's played EFPL already. I think that is a myth. I say that people are, how you adapt and integrate. Like I like this, the Latin flavor players, because they have the technical ability, they can sauce out. I think it's all about coming down to player intelligence and player IQ,
hundred
um,
percent.
look, that is a myth with Premier League proven. Like everyone that's come to the Premier League, including managers like Pep Guardiola, didn't have Premier League proven experience. So yeah, it's coming down how you integrate, and what is the environment that we are setting up for your success, right? And with the existing coaching stuff that is there's now there, we're talking about the defensively. What's his name, Rene Hake as well. He's a very defensive minded, and on attacking side you have Ruud van Nistelrooy, the man himself, right? So
And
and a new goalkeeper, goalkeeping coach.
that goalkeeping coach, Mick, a lot
He's
of you
very
guys are
modern.
gonna love him. I have to tell
Jelle,
you, the
Jelle
guy is
10 Rud
ten
Ruvela,
roller, ten ruler.
10,
Yeah,
10
and he's
rulers.
very, very good with coaching the defense to play out from the back. He's the reason why Burnley looks so good playing out from the back. That
Mm,
was his first season at the club. And it's just like, I understand Uchechi Gloria's opinions on Kerkez being he has already had one season in the Premier League. He knows what he's doing. But last season was his first season. You know what
yeah,
I'm saying? So
yeah,
I understand the Premier League proven thing. But for me, it's not really something that I focus on. I focus on the player's ability and their mentality. If you could see them
yeah.
play
That's
10
that's
games
all
and
what
you
it is.
see
Yeah,
a certain energy from a player, you know he's going to translate well.
100%. Origami says Collier, Gore, Oyadele coming through. Oyadele, I forgot him. He's a right back as well.
Yeah, but the problem with Maxi Oyadeli is that he has this discipline issue, just like Hannibal Mejbri, and it's delaying
Mhm.
his progress because they have high hopes for him. Ten Hag has high hopes for Maxi Oyadeli. He
He
wants to
does.
play him in some positions, sometimes as a right back, but also as a DM in midfield because of his engine. But
Royden Frost
he
is asking you a question here. Mark and Mick, what are your views on Collier from the academy? If we're
I
just
think
speaking.
Collier is very, very good. I haven't seen a lot of him like I've seen other players because he was taken away this season, halfway through the season from the youth team and solely was training with the first team, right? But when he was playing for the youth team, he was the one who was basically guiding everyone after Kobe left. He's
Mm,
very good. He's tall, strong on the ball. He can drive. He has very good ball control and he has a great passing range. So
yeah.
I think you
I,
could be excited about him.
he could be excited, and you have the Fletcher twin as well. What's his name? Jack, or is it?
No,
He's
no, no.
very
This one
tall.
is Tyler. Tyler.
Tyler, very tall, very like McTominay-esque, but more technical, similar to a Mats Weaver. Like, by the way, he Dutch Mats Weaver, very tall. Like, you'd be surprised when you look Weaver playing, right? That jingly bastard, like he's got a great technique. He's a constant presence in the midfield. Um,
100%.
I haven't not heard much that we are linked, but God, I would like us to sort of speak at least to Weaver to get him over the line because he's a cheap one.
I mean, Max FIFA is interesting for me. Like, I think we might look at him based on the fact that I know Van Nistelrooy pretty much likes him, right? But we have to consider the opportunity, the possibility that we might be developing Collier, so
Yeah.
we might not want to bring in too many midfielders at the same time.
True that, true that. Okay, I'm just going to end the poll, guys, just to let you know that you are now. Gutierrez is leading on 57%. The question was, who would you bring in as a left back? Was it Gutierrez or Kerkez? 57% of you
Oh,
voted Gutierrez.
Origami is saying Rifa is going to Brighton. Here we go.
Yeah, is it? I mean, there is to Brighton. Yes, I saw that yesterday, but I don't know if it's a here we go. Is it a deal that we could hijack? Like, I would certainly, go for, if we're not going for a Amrabat, just get in a Weaver that's on a cheap, right? But I haven't
One
heard much of links. And good afternoon, good morning to you, Kat, as well. Um, no one has Premier League experience until they play in it. Sorry, need to point out the clear and obvious. 100% Cat as well. What else is going on here in the chat?
I see.
Um,
I see. This
who's
it's
Wafer?
not.
Gloria Wafer. Yeah,
Max
go
Weaver
Google it.
is a DM at PSV. He won the league with PSV in the
Mm,
in the Dutch league last season. He played for Arnie Slot, pretty good. Was one of their most important players. Maybe you can check him out. He's pretty interesting. I think he's
yeah,
going to
go.
do well wherever
Just
he goes.
It's something called YouTube. Just put in Mats Wiefer. Thomas Regin is coming in with a question. Can you share your opinion? What type of profile is needed in a player? What position? And is there any players you wish were more interested in considering where we are going and ambition? Depends on Thomas in terms of
Or fine,
position, right? So I'll let you take that. I have a phone call coming in here.
100%. Yeah, well, guys, I think whether or not we're looking for a defender, a striker, or a midfielder, I think at the general profile, you would want a player that's very much determined, self motivated, and has a
Ja, jag är på
confidence in
livestream
themselves
just nu.
that they are willing to back themselves.
Jag är live. Okej, jag ringer efter.
I think you definitely need to have a player who's going to come and give his all, this, no matter the situation. And if you look at their performances as a player, whether they're playing in the Dutch league, the German
That's a
league,
great.
the Spanish league, wherever, if you look at 10 games of them, at least for 9, they must be running, giving their all, 100% effort. Because then you can tell, listen, whether this guy's having a good game or a bad game, he's going to give his all. And that's what you
Yeah.
want from players. So
Yeah.
added to that, talent and, specifics according to the position after.
I salute this question. It's a very good question from Thomas. I agree. For me, it's all about, mental agility and your willingness to be a team player. We're moving away from the individual brilliance, so we're going to play more like a team, some mental strength, never give up, never say die, the old United DNA. So that is what we should look for. We're looking for athletes, depend on which position, the Matthias de Ligt. We debunked that he's not that injury prone. He played like 79% for Bayern last season. The season before, he was on 74%, 76% for Juventus. He was just not picked by Thomas Tuchel. And the Ligt that we saw under Ten Hag was a total different ball player. He was given more leadership. He was very good on the ball, but on the certain systems, depends on what the coach is. Mentality is very important for me, Thomas, and the athleticism, ball recovery, how you play without the ball without the ball, and when you have the ball, how you sort of runners, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
If it's in the midfield, movements. Big up to you.
And
Listen,
to address
we're
the
gonna
last
talk.
part, just to address the last part of what he was saying, what player in what position I would like to have. I think we should be doing all we can to hijack Calafiori from Arsenal
Oh, that's
today.
in advance. That's in advance. Yeah, it's advanced.
I like that guy. He's got a good engine
Right.
and stuff and good
Right,
talent.
we are just about to wrap up the stream, people. Listen, Jadon Sancho, latest reports. What's going on, Borussia Dortmund? They are cooled off the interest there, but you live in Germany. You have the fingers on the pulse regarding Jadon there. But the situation is that both Greenwood and Sancho needs to report. I think it's on the 8th on Monday to training.
Monday morning, the training.
And I think that Ten Hag doesn't want to have Sancho back whatsoever. They're falling out big time. They're falling out. So this is the situation where European clubs are looking like they know that we are desperate to sell him. Juventus has now come out to say, look, we need to sell Chiesa first. And they see, Juventus is very advanced regarding Sancho because they see Sancho as the Chiesa replacement. But what are they going to get for Chiesa? Is it 10 million? What can they get for Chiesa?
Well, apparently, what I've been hearing recently is that Roma is interested in taking Chiesa. They are trying to see if they can fund a valuation somewhere in the region of 25 million euros. And if that is to happen, maybe United might be getting 20 of those 25 million euros for Jadon Sancho.
Yeah.
Of course, there's going to be some situations to the deal. I also heard that United might be open now to a loan with a buy
Yeah,
clause.
exactly. Yeah.
And that
I mean, are we
changes
that
things.
desperate? I mean, obviously we are that desperate. We don't want him to come back and stink up the room. 100% no. So would United do that deal to say, look, okay, give him another loan with an option to buy or obligation to buy? I would say obligation.
Obligation to buy, not an option, obligation. And
With a
what
selling
happens
clause.
is this opens up the door to a multiple of more clubs because this means there's a French club. Obviously, Borussia Dortmund will be coming back in because they were about to cool their interest, but now that they're hearing whispers that United might be open to a loan, they might be open to coming back
Cheeky
into
bastards, eh?
negotiations. as you know, they are just trying to be cheeky guys. You
But
know what I mean?
don't you think that that's been the Dortmund's strategy all along? Like they say, oh, we love him, but we don't really rate him, so we will come back at the very end of the window to check the finger on the pulse. Would you take him on a loan or a scandalous bid, right?
Hundred
And
percent.
this is what we are trying to avoid. Now, you snooze, you lose. Like, whoever triggers it will take him. I think that Jadon Sancho to Juventus is a good marriage. It's a little bit of a slow league. It's technical. I mean, he's there to provide service to Vlahovic. That's what they want him to. They identified him to see him as a target. So for me, that is something that we need to push 100%. Regarding Greenwood, multiple clubs are interested. Looks like I think Lazio is pushing for a final deal. If we get what we want, which is 40 million, we can even negotiate down to 35 plus 5 add-ons. Looks like Greenwood is also going to be gone. But there's another one that needs to come back to report for training at Carrington. How do you
Well,
see
that's
that
true.
pan out?
Well, I think it's going to be a slightly different situation internally for one as for the other. I think internally, for one, they don't want him back, and that includes some of the players in the squad and the manager. And I think externally, some fans may want him back. And you mirror this when you look at the other player because some
Hmm.
fans don't want this player back. But the team and the manager both would love to have Mason Greenwood in the starting lineup next season. They wanted him back last season. And it's been
Bro,
reported,
bro,
there
I
are
instantly think
reports.
of this song from this boy band. I want you back. I
I
want
want
you
you back.
back. I
I
want you
want you
back for good.
back.
Whatever I say, I didn't mean
Whatever.
it. Jadon Sancho, sing that song. Come back to Eric and it's like, I want you back.
100%.
I didn't
And
mean it.
and you know the thing is the biggest thing for me with the two players is well, obviously we know one made a horrendous mistake and the other is choosing not to apologize for something that should not have gotten to the stage it was. And we could blame Eric Ten Hag, we could blame the player, but I just think it's a lack of in that moment
Yeah.
there was a lack of maturity on both
Look,
parts and they
there's
could
an
have done
addition
better.
here, Brendan Chappelle saying, take that, which is fantastic. Sancho walks into the dressing room. Apparently, he's been speaking to Ten Hag and say, Tenny, take that. Whatever I said, I didn't mean it. Take me back. Take me back for good.
I mean, he might have to because it's
Hmm,
disappointing, Mick. Like no matter what you say, as a football fan, looking at the situation that he's put himself in the last in this current day, it's disappointing because a player with all that ability and talent, he should not be
yeah,
unwanted by clubs and like clubs staying away from him. He should be one of the exciting opportunities in the market wherever, even if he's
yeah,
unavailable.
yeah. There was a question from, I can't really. There was a question about that I saw. Would you do a swap deal for Chiesa versus Sancho then?
Nine. I don't want Chiesa
And
at United at all. Guys, I'm telling you now, I'm a huge fan of Italian football. Huge fan of Italy national team. I support them at every World Cup if Trinidad is not there, even when Trinidad is there. But I'm telling you
yeah,
this now.
but
Chiesa,
would it be Chiesa? Nah, it's too. Nah, nah.
bro, he's not ready. He's not it. Something happened to this guy. Something happened to this
Get
guy.
off the cliff.
He's lost it. He's lost it. I'm telling you. He's stinking up the gap
All
for
right.
the last year and a half. This is like the second tournament I'm seeing him playing for Italy, and he's not really delivering. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
When it comes to the big moments, he cowers. So I'm like, I don't want him to come to United and guys be disappointed. I know he has
yeah,
been touted a lot, but even Juventus wants to get rid of him. Think about it carefully, guys. They want
yeah.
to get rid of this guy.
Okay. Last question to you and to everyone. There is what would happen in the scenario if we don't get the money from Greenwood? Would you stomach that? I know you're the Greenwood's biggest fan, from a footballing ability. But do you reckon there is a chance that if we don't get the money that we want for Greenwood, that he will be back in preseason training and going on tour?
Ten Hag has veto power still, right?
He does. He loves him. I
Well,
mean,
then
basically, it's a good question what you said there because nothing has changed, right? They haven't amended his contract. They didn't do an ad hoc. They basically extended his contract another year. So that means it's the same contract that he signed. They still has the power and veto, but they're
mm,
now sitting in a sort of round circle and discussing and green lighting. Everyone has to approve.
well, I'm gonna go on the left field on this one and say and just speak a little bit of my views personally on what I think. I've been listening to to our new ship part owner and the new, guys who are in charge of football right now, Jim Ratcliffe, and I've listened to him say a lot of things. And from what I think he's one of those people that back himself and is confident in whatever he does.
Mm.
And now, while I might disagree, if they sell Missing Greenwood, I will live with it. Manchester United is my club. I'm backing you no matter
Yeah.
what, through thick and thin. But I think there's a possibility that he might be kept, seeing that the manager wants him. It saves us money.
It does.
And you know what? I think football fans are a little bit fickle. I'm not trying to offend anyone, but I think that if Greenwood in the first 5, 10 games has 6 goals and 4 assists, I think most of the stuff dies down. And then maybe even if it's untenable in January, you can get
Well,
80
in
million
that
for him.
case, what do you think needs to be done from a PR perspective to kill this off?
I think they need to figure out a way to have an expose. It doesn't have to be like super in depth, but they just need to find some way to get the fans to the level of knowledge that they have on terms of what actually transpired in his situation.
Yeah.
Because
Look,
everyone has seen a 13-second clip and heard and saw some pictures and
yeah.
whatnot, and
What
now
not? What not? We've
this
spoken
guy
about
is.
this. Damn if you don't. Damn if you
Exactly.
won't.
So we
Yeah.
need some form of proof that was going to show the fans,
Look,
listen, this is what actually happened, not what was portrayed by that 13-second clip, but this is
I'm
the
very
actual
objective on
situation.
this subject matter. I'm against all the violence and racism and all that stuff. It doesn't belong in football whatsoever. Whatever you do behind the scenes is not my business. It's not my priority. But people are so quick to judge. I look at more on the footballing abilities and what he can bring to the team and where we want to go. So, yeah, if they need to come out and sort of disclose everything what went down. It's like put the cards on the table. People deserve a second chance. Like proven innocent until proven guilty, and he's not been proven guilty whatsoever. Greenwood should stay. What people are saying, Greenwood deserves a second chance for redemption. Yeah,
Exactly.
listen.
I think sports is one of the only industries that you can say someone can earn redemption in, and
Yeah,
it's what it's meant to be. It's a reason for fair play, and
yeah.
I would say that this maybe there's a lot of people who might be willing to give him a second chance, but a lot of people who don't know the facts, they're undecided, and I think that's the biggest problem. I think
So the
if you
biggest problem is here, and this is the British media's fault. They amplify this, basically publish pictures of Greenwood, leaked out the stories and the kids, and they were gunning for him 100%. We know what the British media are. But if you're looking for environmental friendly solution, Greenwood, Greenwood, is a man that needs that we need now in the Anthony position, and that's what I wanted to come to, right? Why would we go out and buy a winger? We were in for Elise when we actually have even a better version than Elise, and we can actually definitely pull back Greenwood. Anyway, I want to move away from this story. Thank you everyone for contributing in the chat. I think that it's going to be interesting. So keep your eyes on that one. What will happen with Greenwood? I think that they are willing to listen to offers. They set a deliberately applied price on £40 million originally, right? With
Mhm,
some cash up front, right?
mhm,
Um, so if they don't get that, they probably take him back, right? They do take that. I want you back.
100%.
Yeah,
Yeah, and like the group take that said, you know what I mean? I want you back. But you know what, guys? I think it's more important that we get the major business done now. And I think the way United are dealing with things are very professional. They set a
yeah,
price that they think realistically is half of what the player is actually worth, and they're sticking to it. And I think that's amazing. I wouldn't drop from that 40 million price for anything, in my opinion, because
yeah,
I will go off of last season after having 18 months not playing football. He's
yeah.
been one of the best attackers in La Liga. He deserves 40 million pounds or
He
euros.
deserves a second chance. He deserves to play football, right? So he's
Yeah,
still a youngster. Like people make mistakes. I see it from that point of view. I mean, when you were 20, you did lots of mistakes, right? You were young and stupid. You were not even mature. You were not even dry behind your ears. You're still wet behind your ears, like Mr. C saying from a PR basis, the Greenwood situation is already untenable. This Manchester United, they can't see aligning themselves with such affairs. Brilliant player, just not the right character. Well, I think if you debunk that, that was the old establishment, how they fucked up and how they dealt with the situation. Now you have a
exactly.
new establishment, and the guy is actually matured. He's a father, like to the woman alleged, you know. he was kind of being accused
To,
for rape.
to,
Like, why
to
would
say it
you?
easy, to say it
Easy, yeah,
easy, there's no bad PR in my opinion. PR is PR. It all does the same thing. And if you
yeah,
and if you really want to talk about, it's an untenable situation, think about how many posters of Tupac Shakur, how many posters of 50 Cent, of different artists like, let's say Ja Rule, Nicki Minaj, Cardi B. I can go on forever and ever about all these artists who have done probably worse things than this guy
yeah,
have
and
done
Diddy,
as an
and
adult multiple times, right?
yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
all I'm saying is, guys, this is reality. This is life. This is sports, right? Everyone deserves a chance. I mean, even if you and I make a mistake, we hope that the people around us are going to forgive us and give and support us so that we can be the best
Yeah.
that we can be ourselves. No
Yeah,
one is
be the best you
perfect.
can be. I just
And
started a poll, like, and guys, this will be the last poll before we close the shop. And the poll goes basically a finger on the pulse. Does Greenwood deserve a second chance? And right now, 75% is saying yes, 80%. So keep that going for 5 minutes and we will see where we're going. Basically, big up Angie, one of our loyal moderators and contributors to the channel, is saying, what you're saying, Angie, Greenwood and his girlfriend, Harriet, very happy along with the child, but Harriet wants to come home to Manchester as she's missing her family. Bring Mason back, please. What you're saying here, and that's coming from a female perspective, a mature woman like Angie yourself. So big up, Angie. You know
big up,
what?
$100%.
It's you don't want to come home as a as a parent and be abused, and you know, and this is going to be fueled by the media. So um, I would never hit my girlfriend either, like
I
but
mean,
what do
come
we
on,
know? Like,
guys. Like,
listen, what do we know? What do we know?
exactly. 13 seconds. Like, trust me, guys, there's a lot of things that a lot of people are leaving out when they report on this because, everyone has an opinion and the news sells, right? I'm
Yeah,
just
but
saying to
no, no.
you guys,
Listen, what do we know? Um,
13
Anthony will go
seconds, he
13
said,
seconds.
he said a phrase, and there are some pictures that said that claim that, he hit her, and this is what the marks are.
Okay, let's go back to the England and Iceland during the COVID time. Who got bashed was Greenwood. Who was
Greenwood,
involved? Foden.
Foden.
Foden was the instigator.
It
Greenwood
was
was
as
more
Foden, it
in the
was as
background.
Foden's dorm.
Who got banned?
Greenwood.
Who did Greenwood? And who got targeted after by the press? Greenwood. Equal Manchester United. The hate of Manchester United is real, right? So for me, I think we need to nip this in the bud, and it will come out eventually, right? So people are
Yeah,
saying Greenwood deserves a second chance. It's 78%. He's a human being, 100%. Um, Thomas Regines said, if the club backs him, I think we should. And this is exactly what the club needs to do: clear cut
ex-
communication.
you know,
And-
I will say it like this, Mick. We as a club have always walked in our own lane. We've never done at Manchester United what any other club has done. Hence the reason the UCL is the UCL today. Because if we hadn't fight against
Yeah,
the FA back then, maybe there might not be a UCL today, guys. I hope you guys think about these things.
yeah.
United
Big
is a
up.
club, and the only reason we are the generational club that we are, the historic club
Mm,
that we are, is because we always did something outside the box. We always walked in our own lane, and that kind
yeah,
of courage is something that we
yeah,
all grew up
100%.
loving United for,
100%.
100%.
We have Kieran in the house. Big up,
Big
Kiza.
up,
How you
Kieran.
doing, my
What's good,
friend?
bro?
I saw your show earlier today. Big up, brother. We'll jump on show soon regarding Greenwood. What you're saying, Kieran? If he did is true, there's nothing coming back for him. He was never proven innocent. The case was dropped due to him continue to
That's not
sleep
why
with
the
the
case was
victim.
dropped, Kieran. But we could talk about that at a later
Yeah,
date
we can
because
have a discussion, Kieran. But always on this channel, like yourself, we're not here for a toxic environment. We always keep a balanced approach. You look at like two sides of the story, and at the end of the day, you as a viewer, you decide what is your truth. My truth is, guilty, not guilty, but innocent until proven guilty in the court of law. So big up, Kieran. Keep up the good work to you as well, my friend,
big
and
up
we
to
shall see you
Kieran,
soon, my
bro.
friend. Hopefully, Kieran, like, come on the show one day as what we discussed. We've been talking this for ages to do that. I would like to have your opinion. I like what you're saying. You have a similar balanced approach what we do as well. Okay, to summarize things, Mark. We are moving on the market. Who do you think will be the first signing? Does it look like it'll be a Nagate first? Does it seem like the Ligt is coming in first? Zirkzee, release clauses, release clauses, release clauses.
Well, I was at first, I thought it was going to be Zirkzee. I'll be honest, especially with the fact that he had his release clause and it became active on Tuesday last. But now I'm like almost 100%, like I'm 90% sure it's going to be Delit, and I think
Yeah,
Ugarte is
it's
going to
getting lit.
sign right after, because
People is
I
getting
think
lit.
those,
It's
yeah, we're
getting
getting
lit.
lit. Just give us the lit. You know what I'm saying?
The
I
lit.
think I think from what I've been hearing in Germany that the two players are the most anxious to join the club. They're very interested in the options, in the idea that has been sold to them. And PSG's open, Bayern Munich is open. All that's left is the
Mein
confirmation
Bruder,
on,
you
on
live in
terms.
Dortmund, right? You live in Germany, right?
I
In
live in
Cologne.
Germany.
So the
And
press is coming out that they're very angry. They are actually putting a petition. PSG is trying to hijack the deal, and then you see the division in some fan base. No, I don't want him. Right? Same people when we were actually linked to the Ligt before he went to Juve. Everyone was waxing lyrical. It's like, get us the Ligt. And just because he
listen,
snubbed us, they're sitting here. No, I don't want him. He's injury
there's
prone.
a
But the
reason
stats are
why.
coming out to say that he had 78% playing availability at Bayern and 76% when he was Juve. So where is the bloody injury prone?
That's
Funny. I
not
find
even
it
my
all.
concern, Mick. I would say to this to the guys. This guy was voted player in the team of the season in his first season in Juventus, in Serie A team of the season. And in his first season at Bayern Munich, he was also voted in the team of the season for Bundesliga as a defender. So if he goes to three different leagues, and in three different leagues he was part of the team of the season in each league,
Okay.
yeah, I think
Guys,
there's
let
something
me
in
know in
that,
the
you
chat as
know?
well. Who do you think? Do you think that this is a separate signing? Of course, this is a right-footed centre back. But do you think that this will be a transformative signing? Imagine him playing next to Licha. God, this is mouth-watering perspective. Imagine then if we get this legal procedure over the line with UEFA. The loophole is there. We can buy Todibo based on that. We cannot play him in Europa Cup competition together with the same club ownership kind of thing, but we can still play him in Premier League, right? And that is a deal to be made. Like West Ham is gunning for Todibo, they want him. Ratcliffe is blocking the deal to say no, 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 no. So it looks like we're going to get three centre backs, and Maguire is going to be out the door. It looks like Lindelof is going out the door. We're turning the page, right? We are
Turn the
definitely turning the
page.
page, and I'm
It's a,
excited about that, right? We
yeah,
got
it's
the
about
backbone.
time.
We got the backbone. The lid comes in first, and this is the question: who came first, the chicken or the egg? The egg or the chicken? The chicken or the egg?
The
Well,
lit.
it's lit. The lit might come first. But Xerxes is also a deal that now is 100% red, I would believe so. I'm now on the 95% bandwagon. I think that um, I spoke to Alfredo Pedola yesterday, and also his nemesis, what's his name, Di Marzio, tweeted out to discover that AC Milan has now moved away, and AC Milan is targeting who? Alvaro Morata for 13, 14, 15 million, something like that. So they moved
Mm.
away. So it seems to me that Ten Hag, according to Fabrizio Romano, has spoken to Xerxes every single day, right? And if you are Xerxes, you're looking out, damn, what a project, damn, ooh, Van Nistelrooy as a coach, damn, I'm coming, count me in. So I think this is a deal to be made. I think that's, obviously the player himself is focused on the Euros, players sitting on the bench, but agent and clubs are talking in between, and I think behind the scene it is gonna be a lit window, to be honest.
100%.
Left back situation, we've spoken about it's
Milos
difficult to
Kerkez.
sell. Milos Kerkez, Luke Shaw's got 1 year left on his contract. It's going to be a difficult one, 200k a week salary. But clear and obviously that we are looking for a centre back, and that's Milos Kerkez or who else? Gutierrez as well from Girona. I am personally want to take, Gutierrez is a very exciting talent. It means that
Prospect. Yeah.
Real Madrid has walked away. They said, we're not going to take him. If we buy him, we have a sort of buyback clause on 8 million, but they refused. So that means that we have a release clause on 35 million euros, which is 25 million, which is reported that Manchester United are willing to pay for a young up and coming left back. Sancho looks like it's going to be Juventus at the moment, unless, Dortmund wakes up and say, "Hey, we love you, but yeah, we love you even more now. Come on." But they're kind of back.
Mick, you're muted. I thought it was me for a second, guys. Sorry about that, guys. Mick, I think your mic just disconnected for a second. Sorry, guys. It just happened just now. I thought it was me, so I didn't want to say anything, but yeah.
How about now?
Yeah, you're back.
Back. Yeah, my batteries died on my portable Ceramonics. I bought this one. Brilliant, brilliant. But can you hear me now? One, two, three. Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I was just wrapping up the stream to say that this is going to be an interesting race, Mark, to be honest. I think that, you know, Greenwood, if we don't get the money for Greenwood, what we initially wanted, like we said, 40 million cash up front, whatever, because that's pure FFP. If we don't get it, we bring him back, bring him to US tour and see what happens. Listen, that is about it. Turam Faktos night. And also, what's your thoughts about? I see a lot of negative connotations regarding a free signing in that midfield, which is what? Who? Rabbit, rabbit,
Rabio?
rabbit, rabbit.
Yo.
Because everyone is associating him with snubbing us twice, and everyone thinks we're going to sign his mother. Well, we're not. The mother's not
Yeah.
going to play football. It's going to be
Don't worry
Andrea.
about that, guys. We gotta watch me. Listen, fellas, hear me out, hear me out. We have a star-studded cast of executive right now. She could take her pick on which one she could swoon over. Barada, Vivel, even the new goalkeeping coach. I think he might be one of those
Yeah,
12 guys. So we will have
yeah,
enough in the back room to take care of the
yeah.
mom,
Yeah,
right?
guess who starts working on Saturday or next Saturday on the
Barada,
Berrada.
the guy,
Berrada.
the
The guy
myth,
is working. So that
right?
means that we're a full team in the back room and we can just move forward and it's going to be a lit window. We'll be here covering unorthodox times because it's different times. But as soon as something breaks, we'll be here. I'm not going to do a live stream tonight because I'm going out to eat and then I'm going to watch the Euros, which is Germany is playing today. How's the mood in Germany, by the way?
Nick, I'm gonna be out. So if you want to get some maybe like a fan view today, you can shoot me up when you're live.
Yeah,
I will probably be live on my channel and Papi's
yeah.
channel. To be fair,
So
so if you
before we
guys want to
leave,
come in,
yeah, you're going to be live on your channel. But before we leave, it's Bratwurst versus what? Chorizo tonight.
schnitzel, bratwurst versus schnitzel. No wait, no wait,
Chorizo. Spanish
chorizo,
chorizo
chorizo.
sausage
That's correct.
versus German
Bratwurst, chorizo.
bratwurst. Yeah.
Yeah,
Who do you think will get
broad
the upper
versus
hand here?
tapas. I think
Who
it's
do you
gonna be
think,
the bratwurst because I love me some schnitzel. You know what I mean? The tapas taste good, but the bratwurst is better. And you know
guys?
what, guys? I
Guys?
gotta say it. The German fans are gonna be in a rioting
Guys?
mood today. It's gonna be big.
Listen, this guy. Tune in for his watch on the laters. We will have a sausage party, right?
Definitely, I'm gonna be at one of the. I'm gonna be at one of the largest fan zones in Germany today. I'm going down to the Rhine today, so it's going to be
Big up to
huge.
you,
If you
man.
guys, I'm going to call into the stream because Papi and they're going to kick off the stream, and I'm going to call in and probably
Yeah,
ask some questions to some of the
yeah,
German fans. So
yep.
tune in later on, guys. But you know
Oh,
what? You could always catch Mick and myself, the
yeah.
M&M show. We're going to be live
Mr.
bringing you the
Schnitzel.
latest transfer news. Mick,
Yeah.
Mick always beats the press, guys, and I'm just trying to keep up with
Oh
him. You know
shit!
what I
We
mean?
cannot end this poll as yet. People are asking when you're going to have the show with Kieran. Well, Kieran, you have my number. You have my email. Just let me know when you're available. I'm dying to
Mick,
get you on. Yeah,
Angie,
I
says
know.
goodbye in fine style.
Shit. Okay, we have gifted memberships from Angie, who was gifted a membership. We have
Mr.
Matt
C.
Taylor.
Nefam 420. Death was given a membership. Born Vex. Mark Parks. Matt Taylor. Chris B. Eye in the Sky. Diaz Park. Ronak Joshi. Otumba His Royal Highness. Ichi Chinny Kojak. Royden Frost. Diablo Davis. Were given memberships by Angie so far,
If
and
we
the rest
missed.
are still coming through, guys. Big up
Yeah,
so
Igor
much to
Moskowitz
you,
was
Angie.
gifted. Diablo Davis, James Robertson, Andy Slade, Jimmy
Jimmy
Freeman,
Freeman, Marcia
Marcia
Dean,
D, Jay Jones, and Giorgio Roberto. Giorgio Roberto. Sometimes very good, sometimes very shit, but that's not that Roberto. Listen, guys, give Angie a massive love heart and say thank you. And welcome to the family, guys. We will be back. And in the meantime, Mark, when can people check you on your watch along? Please promote yourself
the
because you're
watch
going to have a
along
sausage
guys.
party.
It starts at 6 p.m. at 5 p.m. UK. We're going to be live like 10, 15 minutes before today. Poppy is going to give his little monologue because he's representing Germany. I got kicked off, no longer host nation. So I'm going to be out with the fans at the viewing station, and I will be calling in and
Right.
giving some updates of what it's like while the
Okay.
game is live.
So you prefer den bratwurst over chorizo, right? So what is your
100%.
score prediction for tonight?
I
Living in Germany, do you think Germany is going to get over the line, or do you think it will be a paella
I think it's
with
going to be a
una
huge
cerveza?
scoring game today. Both teams have shown that they can score goals and they can defend well. And I think Spain, arguably, it'd be hard not for them to score 2 goals. So I think it's going to probably be somewhere in the region of a 3-2 victory for Germany, or maybe a 4-3
Hmm.
thriller. It could even go to
Interesting.
penalties.
I think Grasshopper. Listen to me. Listen to me very carefully, fucking. All right. I think it's going to go to penalties.
Possibly.
Okay. Next game we have Le Portugal versus Le France.
The GOAT. There's no question. The
He's
GOAT is
only
going to score one of his first open play goals of the tournament
he's
today.
struggling. He's
He's
struggling.
struggling, but trust me, in these moments when it boils right down to the final, you remember back in 2000 and I think it was 9, was it 2009 when Ronaldo was in the tournament and he didn't score a goal. He scored 1 goal in the first game. He never scored again until the knockout round of the competition in the UCL
Oh, he
and
looks
ended up top
frustrated.
scorer.
He looks angry.
He's gonna score big today, guys. Look out for
You
look
reckon?
out for the
So
a brace from the GOAT.
you're back in Portugal. I am also gonna see that this one go to extra time and penalties as well. For some reason, it's gonna be head-to-head clashes, right? That's about it. Usheshi Gloria says Portugal will win, and Mark, join Mark's channel for later. You will have a watch along and have a sausage party currently. So, bratwurst versus chorizo. A little bit of an ocean fun. Enjoy the rest of your Friday. TGIF.
Big up
Glory,
everybody.
glory. Manchester United is turning the page. Ten Hag's been given an extra year of contract, meaning we have a full-fledged backroom staff, which I'm very excited about, and now we can go to the market, sell the deadwood, trim the yard to make the bush look bigger, whatever. That we're not sponsored by Manscaped, but we got the open heart surgery, consulted by Ralph Ragnick. The gown is on, the scrubs is on, the scalpel's in the hand. We got to cut the weed to make the garden look beautiful. Until then, people, this has been M
And
N M,
this way,
and
yeah.
always go peace, love, and go
Go
banana. Glory,
bananas.
glory, Manchester United. Remember, Glazes are still here, Glazes out, and we should see you to the next one. See you to the next one. Bye for now, people. Enjoy your Friday. Cheers. Peace. Thank you so much for stopping by and watching MUFC Realist TV. Don't forget to like and subscribe and follow us on the socials.